This one is gonna hurt. One spot left in our top 8. And only one of these teams will continue on with their road to redemption.
And both fan favorites online. But who will the Dorf back?
Let's find out. Moist Esports, quarter-finalists back in Dallas. G2 Esports, grand finalists back in Dallas. Only one of them will be able to reach our top 8. Juicy already looking for Atomic!
Oh!
And Moist, strike, burst!
That did not take long. Look who it is, it's Juicy. Skipping along the backboard, clatters Atomic out of the way. Joyo with the easiest goal he scored in the group stage.
We already know just what last season meant to Joyo. The capitulation of one of the most celebrated rosters ever! G2 Esports, the roster is the same. They want the result to be different.
Yeah, what's that shot by Atomic? Cash is in the net waiting for it, but he did not expect the near post accuracy. He had boost, couldn't get the save.
Both of these teams starting off incredibly well, finding their offensive opportunities, unlike the last series we had, where it just felt a little bit tentative between both KC and Complexity. That is not how either of these two teams roll. Their entire MO is all about offense, offense, offense. Do not get stuck on your side of the field. This will be a very momentum-heavy series.
Oh yeah, and I feel like it is all about the offense for both these teams. Moist yesterday had a ton of offense against FaZe. Lots of defensive mistakes. G2 are going to be looking to punish those.
Was Juicy that really was the player that stepped up the heaviest for at least my taste. As Joyo out, Cash just puts the ball onwards, but only as far as Chicago. Juicy controls the backboard, intercepted by Chicago, and Joyo has to get ahead. Moist Esports cannot afford to allow themselves to head into almost the automatic plays. They need to read it because G2 Esports want those interceptions.
So I like the comments there by Moist, clearly calling fakes early. That could be huge moving forwards. Moist had some big mind games against FaZe. G2 needs to be on the lookout for those.
Joyo out to Cash. Instead decides to take it by himself. Cash on the same side of him though means that the recovery is going to be very difficult on the ball. And now it's carrying its way towards the goal. Joyo very happy just to control it, and now unhappy to see that his car has been wiped out. Juicy tries to force the early challenge. Now he becomes a passing option. Joyo, fast side. Will he get the ball? Oh my goodness, well, Genab's had to be aware of it.
Yeah, both teams giving each other a lot of respect right now, Shogun. They're not anticipating misses, but oh, that's a great shot, Chicago! Finds a double tap past two defenders.
Well, you talked about respect. Chicago deserves all of it. He will receive it from Moist. He will receive it from our fans in here. And G2 Esports have bounced back despite conceding first.
Yeah, all in that stealing recovery for Chicago now. Oh, wow. Nearly got a third there. Juicy needed to be quick back to defense. Joyo now looking for Cash in the middle. No flip available for him. G2 with a disciplined start here. They're not lunging in. They're not just throwing themselves at Moist. They're waiting for the clear-cut chances.
Might have another one. Early move there from Juicy. Had to. Out to the backboard. Joyo pops up, not bumped by JNabs. This now means Joyo can do what he does best! Off the backboard! Double tap on the dunk!
That's not a bad goal. That's a decent goal, you can say. Like Joyo, 2-2. He's right back to his form he had against FaZe.
Half the game gone. 2 goals each. Nothing to separate them to at least start us off here. Reminder for everybody just tuning in. 7 of our quarterfinalists are now confirmed. This is for the last! And Atomic, well positioned to stop the shot.
Yeah, G2 spreading out well there. They had coverage on the infield pass. They had coverage in the net. Moist are starting to spread them pretty thin though. Joyo's got shot. Atomic again with the save. Where's the follow-up? It's Chicago's.
Right now on the half rotation, needs some support. The cannon is there very quickly, but it's dropped down to Atomic. Joyo with Juicy on the fast lane. You notice the Cash lining himself up. Well played there by Atomic just to spot him from the blind side. Now Juicy, he popped off yesterday. Now what's he got? It's out to Joyo. Saved by Chicago.
Yeah, G2 being tested right here. Juicy starting to come alive as well. Joyo earlier already looking fantastic. G2 cannot allow Moist to get that momentum that they destroyed FaZe with yesterday. And when they get all three rolling, it's just too much.
Will always be that other part of Moist that we reference quite often, which has been the almost lack of ice, the opposite of what we had last season from them. They are a team that once something goes wrong, the domino effect does tend to go into play. Yesterday did an awful lot to try and get rid of that. As Joyo now down, in comes Juicy. Gonna have to place it well. Ooh, and he's done so.
That's another good save by Atomic, to be fair, and he nearly had the second one as well. Shot was just spinning the right way off the crossbar.
It's a 1 minute left. G2 Esports now gonna have to be on the chase here. Let's see what they've got on the kickoff. It's actually a good win for them. JNaps only with Joyo to beat. Sorry, bad kind of sentence. What do you mean only Joyo to beat?
It's proven to be quite difficult to get the ball past. Joyo swats away another G2 shot. Juicy now collecting it in defense, but that's not the spawn that Joyo wanted. Moist all appearing at the same side of the post, and now it's uncontested. Is it going to be? No, not quite. Cash gets there to deny G2.
Juicy clears long. That's so much time taken off the clock. Now off the wall. Cash chases up. First challenge goes well. JNaps waits for him. A couple of players trying to attack Juicy on the goal line. He did well to avoid those bumps. And now Moist Esports wastes some time clearing to the opposite side of the field.
Oh, it's an early interception there by Juicy. Fantastic aggression in the closing seconds with a 1-goal lead. G2 need to find the ball. This is a chance now. Atomic goes infield. He's 1v1, and he's got some help. It's Atomic.
They finally found him. Joyo was being chased like it was an 80s cartoon, and Atomic just had to find where the car wasn't. 3 each. Are we going to overtime? Off the kickoff, Chicago again, they've got the same win. Almost had the 2v1. Now it's Atomic puts the shot. That will not test whatsoever. And it's up to Moist, who do take us to overtime.
Now it's all about that read by Atomic. The cut-in field completely surprised Moist. They were defending the wall play. They did not expect him to go for the dribble.
Off the wall, Chicago with JNaps turning. Early challenge again, another one from Juicy. That actually puts the tables around as Atomic called in to save. Chicago out to find JNaps. Juicy's by himself again, has to get good touch. It's done well enough for now, but now they're being chased again. G2 are doing a great job communicating when to send the first man looking for demos. Now JNaps, midfield, aim for Cash already up.
Yeah, Cash going to continue now, offloads to Joyo. Joyo denied the back corner double by Atomic, who just finds himself everywhere that the ball goes, and he's exactly where G2 need him. Atomic tied it, Atomic wins it.
A 7-goal thriller to start us off. Juicy didn't want to lunge at the ball, felt like he could potentially miss it, but unfortunately the other option to him was allowing the shot to come in. G2 fight back, and they've got game number 1.
Yeah, this is a G2 who are completely resurgent. They've peaked at the right time all season. It's been a bit disappointing.
Whoa, Yummy?
Where's Yummy?
Whoa.
No, I saw he was in the Karmi Corp section. Now, where's he gone, the Plastico?
Oh my goodness. Well, we've managed to get a new jobby around here. Look at that from Chicago. That is how you get the troops fired up. Brilliant goal, followed up by a brilliant goal. And why not to finish it off? Atomic slides the ball underneath. And that was good enough for G2. Best of 7 over here. Both teams will have access to timeouts throughout all of this. But Johnny Boy, for Moist Esports, happy with what you saw?
I mean, Joyo looks great. He dropped 900 points nearly, and Atomic did drop 900 points. It's just another Joyo versus NA star player, isn't it? Yesterday was First Killer. Now, the difference could be, will Juicy and Cash show up big like yesterday? I mean, we did see some moments there in that game from all of them, but they need to all be huge. It's, you know, in the same way for G2, JNaps and Chicago, they can do that as well. Atomic and Joyo seem to be the main characters, but which team's got the stronger supporting cast?
game 2. And G2 have got the advantage in this series. We've already seen from KC in the previous round how dropping the first 2 games does not necessarily put you out of reach here, but it is more of an exception than it is the rule. Cash, let's see what he can come up with. Been kept relatively quiet ever since we hit the elimination stages of this tournament. Juicy, all off the bump as well, and Joyo didn't really anticipate it. Down the line, Joyo, control against Atomic, and that second touch was too heavy.
Yeah, Atomic's just, he's end-to-end for G2 right now. Look at him go again, just taking the ball from the G2 goal line, all the way to the Moist goal line, in the blink of an eye.
Ball popped on, Chicago. Only as far as Juicy. Cash thinking better of an early challenge. Atomic chasing down the far side. That'll be easy enough for Joyo. Well, until Atomic decided to keep on going. And he's got the demo. There's a doggedness to the way G2 are playing this one. Don't want to make it too clean. I can understand why. Other game that you'd expect Moist to be quite happy to play, and also challenge Juicy. Almost found the way to the net.
Yeah, good recovery again by G2. Their defense looking impressive so far. Moist have needed some spectacular plays to get through it in game 1. Yet to do so in game 2, game 2 that they lost yesterday against FaZe with a defensive blunder from Joyo and Cash.
Moist Esports will be desperate to get the first goal. Juicy on the turn with Atomic, who seems to be the main man when it means going forwards and trying to get those bumps and demos. JNaps, will he go by himself? Atomic was at least considering a demo on the goalkeeper, realized there was 2 of them. A bit more difficult when that ends up happening, but you can still see eyes have always got to be glued off the ball more than on the ball, because G2 keeps swarming the goalkeeper.
And Joyo there selflessly brings Cash into the play. Not been selfish, has he? He's just got the mechanics to 1v2, 1v3 every now and again, but he's always looking for the pass at the end of it all.
Much more tentative here in game number 2. Waiting to see who can get the first chance. Oh, Juicy had a little bit of a stutter and it almost caught him. Instead, it was perfect. Now Joyo chases down Atomic. How do you like it, Atomic, when we go for that? Cash bundles it over the line.
I mean, you've got to say, not a bad try by Atomic.
He did so well.
Joyo. He just didn't have the speed. Cash barrels right through him. Moist lead again.
That feels so good for Moist Esports, given the amount of times Atomic's just been catching them. That will not deter Atomic whatsoever, however. And now they got the backboard, and yep, this is to prove me right. They're already going for it. Might even get a chance on this. Atomic. Ooh, not the best touch from Cash. They don't have anybody on the backboard. I would invite G2, who are finding demos. They're on that far side, though, so JNaps has to delay the play. Oh, is that in? Oh, goodness.
G2 just swarming, wearing down the Moist boost totals. Cash has 100. Joyo not so much. He invites Cash to take over, but it's not in time. Joyo scrambles back. He's still got no boost.
G2 look great despite the scoreline. They're finding chances, but now they've got Joyo to contend with. Moist doing a great job of not rushing the play afterwards either. They had a man down. Needed Joyo to get back into the rotation. JNaps flips away, Atomic backs down, Chicago backs down, it brings Joyo back in for another go at it. JNaps now away. 90 seconds left here. G2 scored 4 in our previous game. They are now desperate just for 1.
Yes, there's been a disciplined performance by Moist on Forbidden Temple. None of the mistakes of yesterday. G2 trying to force one right here, and they've done it!
Is there an angle Chicago can't hit? Take a look at that. Atomic wanted it, Chicago wanted it. Either way, they got what they were after.
And I think this is where it's the most important for Moist to just settle down. That's a great pass by G2. It's a great finish as well. I don't think Moist needs to really change anything with how they're playing. It's just about getting those outplays, about denying G2 theirs.
Now going for the backboard yet again. Chicago didn't get contact. Joyo now off the ceiling. Back into this, and they have JNaps downfield. And they are going to get it to him! Top bins!
The oldest player still in the tournament. Doesn't look like he's out of place. How about that for placement?
G2's accuracy has been incredible to this point. Moist Esports staring down at a potential 2-game deficit. Last season's quarterfinalists trying their best here. G2 have something about them when it comes to World Championships, and they are showing it. Juicy with the save. Joyo desperate to now get this ball on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah, it's a good save by Juicy, but Moist have got to get that ball moving. They've got to get it into the orange half. With purpose, it's just time and time again. G2 shooting, setting up backward passes. Just pressuring Moist into submission.
G2 really look World Championship ready. Cash up against JNaps, who fakes the first challenge. Atomic will still be around if he's required. But Moist Esports don't even look like they're going to get even a chance here.
Wow.
And G2 Esports, yet again, bounce back.
And this team is just in world-class form. And I think maybe they hit a bit of a road bump against NG, but they've picked themselves back up. They've got Moist in a lot of trouble. No calls of timeout yet, but not gonna lie, I expected one from Moist there.
We'll see if they do take theirs. For now though, G2 Esports looking at the kind of form that they would want to continue on to tomorrow's top 6.
Oh, they have called timeout.
That's really, they really did have to.
Yeah. And this is it's getting desperate. And the games have not been one-sided. They've been close games, but G2 have produced some fantastic goals. The finishing by JNaps in Chicago there, absolutely world-class. Atomic once again topping the scoreboard. Everyone is firing on G2. Everything's coming together. Moist, look lackluster.
Just do not have the same accuracy that G2 Esports do. Even if nothing's getting said here, you have to ice G2 a little bit. Can't let them continuing to get those shots, because we can't even point to one player on G2 right now and say, oh, that's the player that you need to calm down a little bit. Every single one of them are hitting what they need to hit. As I previously mentioned, we have already seen 2-game comebacks happen very recently, in fact. But for Moist Esports, they now need to do what their old player, their former player, just did. Bounce back and get the next 2.
I mean, it's just so difficult to do, especially when G2 are playing this well. You know, I think Moist have just got to focus on their own game. They're getting a bit too tied up and not making mistakes. They're trying to be too perfect. They're trying to wait for G2 to make a move and react to it. I feel like Moist are better when they're the proactive team, when they're the team dictating the flow of the game.
The timeout is up. Moist Esports, with your season on the line, what have you figured out? Or is G2 just one bump in the road too far? Let's find out. G2, if they win this, they will need a miracle to be defeated. They will want this 3rd game oh so much.
Yeah, we saw the first best of 7 reverse sweep at an RLCS land in the wild card between Falcons and Twisted Minds. We've never seen one in the main event.
Joyo goes infield, Cash delays, and Chicago has it covered.
That's the 2nd game in a row. Cash has gone for the mind game, low 50. This time G2 stop it.
G2 just can't get an answer wrong at the moment. It's up to Moist to get this first goal. Still need to avoid the demoing and see what it's doing to the rotations. Moist Esports are mis-rotating because they do not want to get clattered into. Now Juicy, again, is he going to try and go solo this time? 2 players went. Now it doesn't really bounce down in a shootable position for Moist. Atomic, what can he set up? Almost feels like as long as he can get the ball clean to a teammate, they'll find the top corner. Yeah, almost ran into his own teammate.
That was a bit extravagant from Joyo as well. Stealing challenge. Didn't really look like one was necessary. Again, just such a solid defensive line by G2. You know, credit to them, this is not really what they're known for, being that difficult team to get past, but just look at them now, advancing that line subtly forward, catching Moist off guard.
Bit of chat time here now for Juicy. He's won the challenge, but he can't get control of the car again. Cash on the wall. In Chicago, JNAB's immediately there to support. Wants to try and put some pressure on Moist Esports. Atomic now, midfield. Good challenge from him. Pulls Chicago into the play. Just trying to pull at the strings here of Moist defense. See where those mistakes might lay. Now Atomic. And yet again, every single time we get the ball in that position, you look across the field, and it's always JNABs that seems to be waiting. But now Juicy gets JNABs. There was 2 more waiting.
Yeah, if Juicy's going to make that play, it needs to be on the last man, or he needs to pass the play behind him. Not going to get through multiple G2 defenders when they're lined up calmly like that.
Cash goes early. Joyo. The catch, but JNAB shadows it. Shadow defense from G2 has been incredible. Moist Esports, though, not playing it first time all too often. Now Joyo just left it, made it too easy for Chicago. JNAB into the midfield, and Atomic was gone. Had to get contact, otherwise that was going to be the clean beat and a goal for Cash, who is still going, just wants to out-muscle G2.
G2's boost management is just spectacular, even under all this much pressure from Moist. They're containing, they're just controlling the game. G2 look like the more threatening team going forward as well. Look, once again, G2 immediately into attack and creating passing plays from all angles.
Now Chicago challenges. Ball bounces back, just wants to try and get the ball to a teammate, but everyone was tripping over each other. Cash to himself on the wall. Just feels like any moment here needs to be the one to set it up for Moist. They're the ones that need this goal the most, especially with only 90 seconds left in this game. G2 get it. That could be the series. Chicago delays off the backboard. Joyo got enough on it. Now needs to follow. Does exactly that. And as always, the reads from G2 on point off the backboard. Who's there first? Joyo gets the save. Now another one. Chicago scores.
G2 will not be denied. Multiple saves by Joyo, but eventually the boost ran out. And for me, that's been the difference. G2 have held their nerve under pressure. They've just had such discipline with the boost button. Both Juicy and Cash had none to play with right there in that play.
From Moist Esports, you've tried to play disciplined. It's not worked for you. Now it's time to rely on the mechanics and create a moment of magic. They look for the top corner. It's Atomic that's got it covered. Now they transition away. A lot of crucial time wasted for Moist. As that demo comes in, JNABs actually leaves it. Cash wants to take the bait, at least gets the car.
And not a lot of time left for Moist. Another scoreless game. It might be G2's the other way. Atomic going all the way himself. He doesn't need a center ball. It's 2-0 G2. And Joyo scratching his head, wondering what on earth do we do against G2 in this form?
G2 have really taken the sizzle out of this match. For Moist Esports, the Rotterdam Grand Finalists. This could be the season. The way things are looking right now, they would need to secure our second ever LAN Best of 7 reverse sweep. Our other one was only just this week, so hey, at least you've got something to aim towards. G2 Esports, everything is about righting the wrongs of the last season's Grand Finals. Oh, gonna have to try and create something with at least a second left. Cash on the challenge.
Wait.
Who's there first? G2 Esports have got 1, 2, 3 match points.
Flawless. Just absolutely flawless by G2 once again. They are giving Moist nothing. After losing in the upper bracket of the group, to bounce back like this, it just tells you all you need to know about the G2 mindset. They have come into this tournament with a totally transformed mentality compared to the rest of the season. Their best result before now, top 8 in the Winter Major. They didn't even qualify for Boston. It didn't make top 8 all the way back in fall. been, like we said at the start of this match, a disappointing season for them, but this is the one everybody wants. This is the one everybody cares about. And G2, perhaps more tthan anyone, JNAPS and Chicago, the unenviable title of being the only two players to have lost 2 times in the RLCS World Championship Grand Final. Is it third time lucky?
More than anything else on those one, it's the way that they lost those matches. You know, you look towards the Vitality one, you can really say that it was the end of that first match that really killed them off. The 0-second goal, and they never looked the same after that. Went into the match against BDS last season and just didn't really get started. But something about this team that's the sort of positions that destroy rosters. And for these guys, they take it in stride, they refocus, and they come back next year looking to secure top 8.
Oh, I can tell you it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for this G2 team, but they don't like losing. They've been losing a lot this year, so it probably wasn't a good year for most of it, but to come out of that, I think is even more impressive. To have the trials, the tribulations, and to then rise from the ashes. G2 looking to make playoffs, looking to make Championship Sunday. They've got 4 chances to do it.
Moist Esports aren't going to make anything of this, then they need to go to Champions Field. That feels so far away at this point, but you've got to take the first step. Clear down the line. Cash waits for it. Oh, he has beat JNAPS clean, so that means Chicago up against Juicy. Look at the position of Chicago, but he did miss it. And that is inviting Moist Esports to come back over. Moist cannot let this opportunity go to waste. They need to keep the ball pinned in the orange side of the field.
Yeah, rare chance for Moist now to attack a low boost G2. Even now, though, they're struggling to find an opening. Only Atomic has boost to play with. JNAPS and Chicago on small pads. Look how much Chicago's able to do. Great trade by him.
Low challenge, second one, out to Juicy. Atomic saves, next one up, off the backboard. Who's got boost left to go back in? Moist Esports forced to at least retreat to the midfield. Now Joyo trying to find something. 2 players went. 2 players got contact.
G2 are just giving Moist absolutely nothing here, Shogun. And just like that, shot from distance, sent into Moist crossbar by Joyo himself. He had to do it. It was going in.
It's not like Moist are not getting time on the ball. It's just the quality of what is being done with it by both these teams. It's night and day difference. Bump on Juicy means that he cannot follow up. JNAPS, he goes for it!
Too good.
Too fast.
I mean, it just looks like it comes out of nowhere, but the call for the fake completely catches Moist off guard. JNAPS knew it was coming. G2, they're just destroying Moist, Shogun. I mean, the crowd wants something. They just saw a 7-game thriller. Karmi Corp and Complexity set a pretty high bar. And G2 do not care. They just want to go as deep in this tournament as they can.
It is all about the result. And this result for G2 is one of the ones that is legacy defining. The way they have played this against a team that has looked good on land is incredible and would set them up as one of the tournament contenders. Chicago, he doesn't want to be a contender. That is not on his repertoire. He wants to be champion.
Just a perfect first touch there by Chicago. Just bringing the ball back down to himself as it curves off the ceiling of the crossbar. The in and out save attempt was about all Juicy could muster, but you're not going to save Chicago from that position. Is Joyo going to get one back? Yes, he is.
The crowd is trying to get behind them. Joyo has got in front of the ball and he's given them a lifeline. What can they do with it?
Yeah, you talk about G2's seasonal regain. Moist need a regain right now. Finally scoring after almost 3 games. G2 have just prevented them from getting any of their offense going. Team plays have been null and void. Solo plays have been stopped before they get started. G2, meanwhile, continue to look dangerous, and that's composure from Joyo on his own goal line. G2 won't mind too much about that.
Oh, Juicy's got a lot of work to do. He did incredibly well with it. Tomic's first touch maybe left a little bit to be desired. Joyo now moves in. Again, just the fakes. They are jumping at shadows, Moist Esports. Minute and 50 to try and find the goal. Juicy moves on in. Tried for the double, did not find it. Playable position though from Moist Esports, especially with Joyo on the ball. But you can see G2, if they don't get the ball, they'll get the car. And now off the reset, go backboard.
That's good force by Cash, forced Atomic to go high. Here comes Joyo the other way, but great rotation by Atomic. Just cuts off the attack again at the point of origin.
Atomic with Chicago to aim for, realized that he wasn't going to get there first. Cash clears into the midfield. That's everything from G2. That midfield thoroughly in their control. Joyo only as far as JNAPS. That's wasteful and almost caught his team. Out to the backboard, G2 waiting for that mistake. Moist Esports not only can't provide it, they need to get the ball onto the orange side of the field or they are out.
Yeah, final minute here. There's no time to hold back for Moist. They need to get something going. They've not really had much to talk about this game. Now the final 45 seconds is upon them.
Joyo challenges Atomic and Chicago are there, but now Juicy's won the challenge. Chicago tries to just slow the play down. That's across the face of goal. Juicy couldn't make contact, and it pinches horribly for Moist. They're into their own side of the field. They have to go again.
Joyo has control though. He's got an option in field. Got a flip. Goes from distance, but again G2 have two defenders.
The Talisman couldn't do it. Now it's up to Juicy. The unproven, the rookie, he couldn't get through. Joyo clears. They're throwing everything they can right now. But G2 Esports look to have them covered.
Great job.
Up goes Joyo. Drops it.
Oh!
It's still alive. Juicy only as Picard by Chicago, who drops the ball down. G2 flawless.